Have you ever looked back and wished you'd been braver? Ever thought to yourself, oh, if only I had spoken up, if only I'd taken the chance, if only I had made that change? You know, if you do, then you're not alone. Most of us can easily think of times when we let fear and self-doubt sit in the driver's seat, where we risked too little and we played too safe. And the fact is, as human beings, we are wired to be risk averse. We're wired to avoid potential threats to our safety and sense of comfort and sense of security. And it's why so many people at the end of their lives look back and wished they had taken more risks, wished they had lived the life that they truly wanted to live and not the one that others wanted them to live, wished they'd cared less about what everybody thought, about being rejected or being disapproved of. Well, it's easy to think that some people are born naturally brave, naturally just big risk takers. You think of Richard Branson and Bear Grylls and, there's a whole lot of trailblazers out there and you go, if only I had the guts that they had. But here's the deal. No one is born with an immunity to fear or self-doubt, and every single one of us has the ability to learn to take action in its presence, which is ultimately what being courageous, what being brave is really about. Courage, bravery, it's like a muscle, it's a skill, it's something that, it's like going to the gym every day. You go there if you haven't worked out for a while and you kind of go, and even light weights feel really heavy. But if you keep showing up and you keep doing the thing that's a bit uncomfortable, over time, what felt hard no longer does. And if you think back to your first day in your job or a time 10, 20 years ago where something was really scary, I'm sure now you can look back and go, I really didn't need to be afraid. I know when I run programs, I often ask people to share something that they did that at the time was incredibly scary. And time again, people will say one of the biggest lessons they got is that they realized they didn't need to be afraid, that they were capable of more than they thought. And the same is true for you. It doesn't matter where you've been held back in your life up until now, where you're feeling stuck, where it is that you know you need to really dial up your courage and to train the courage muscles within you. You have what it takes to do just that. And you need to start now with whatever it is you're dealing with right now. In my article that I'm sharing with you this week, I share 10 different ways to train the brave, to train those courage muscles. And you know, when you do it in the small things, it sets you up so that when you're facing the really big decisions, it's easier to get into action and to do the very thing that you need to do, even when it terrifies you. And I know from my own experience, having lived around the world and currently raising 4 teenagers, all the time when I think of things, I'm like, yeah, but what's the bravest thing to do? And sometimes the bravest thing to do makes me feel incredibly vulnerable and afraid. What if I fail? But time and time again, I have learned that when we risk failing, even when things don't go the way we want, we learn a lot that makes the courage, the attempt to try, worthwhile, absolutely worthwhile. So fear regret more than you fear failure or being rejected or having people disapprove of you or losing face or losing pride, and dare to get outside your comfort zone more often to train the brave. So whether it's saying no to an invitation even though you know it might hurt feelings and you're afraid of missing out on something because you know it's not aligned with the biggest, boldest vision for your life, daring to set a big, bold vision, daring to go after a goal that you know isn't a guarantee that you'll succeed, daring to risk more rejection, daring to have a difficult conversation, maybe just to ask for help or to let someone know what you really want. I just cannot encourage you strongly enough to get out there and to do the very things that scare you. And I guarantee you, if every day for the next 10 days, if you take on my Train the Brave challenge that I share with you, you will look back in just 10 days' time and feel braver than you did before, but also see for yourself a whole new world of opportunities, because your horizons expand the more you're willing to step toward the uncertainty and step through the doubt and just to take action. I encourage you because, as Annine once said, life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. Take care, be bold, be brave. You've got this.